Hello, my name is Mariah Smith. I am observing a 5th grade class and I decided to teach a lesson on dividing decimals. This lesson happened in Unit 5, Lesson 6, and it's a strategy that focuses on multiplying by multiples of 10 before you divide to make the numbers whole. In the first 5 minutes of my video, I started off by introducing what we were going to be doing. So I put dividing decimals in the beginning, and then we went over our 6 a day. 6 a day is kind of a review that we always put in there just to kind of refresh the kids' brains on like what they learned from the day prior or the week before in this case, because it was Monday. So all the problems in there are review. So the very first problem was order decimals from least to greatest. The next two problems were subtraction and addition. And then the next problem was focusing on division with pictures, because that's what we learned. And then we had a word problem that focused on multiplication. The reason why the word problem was a little bit more focused on multiplication is because it was something I felt that they were a little bit more familiar with, since we had just started division last week, or before this was filmed, the week prior, on like Thursday and Friday. So I just felt like they might be a little bit groggy. The UDL focus strategies I used from the first 5 minutes of this video. Within the first 5 minutes, the UDL strategies I used to actively engage students in the asset-based math lesson that I used is UDL Principle 3.1, which states connect prior knowledge to new learning. And I did that with the 6 a day, which occurs at the clip 0 minutes and 14 seconds through 1 minute and 10 seconds, where I introduced the 6 a day. And then I also monitor students' response to it, like how much more time they would need or how well they're doing with the problems at the moment, just to see what I should highlight when coming up with the way I'm going to lead the lesson later on. I used 6 a day to stage where the kids were at and help them review for the upcoming lesson. I hope this would support their progression towards understanding parts and strategies of division, just kind of showing the different parts of it. So like the picture model, which is something that we went over last week. This week is a standard algorithm, and I know they learned one other strategy the week before. We also went over UDL Principle 2.1 within the first 5 minutes, and that states clarifying symbols, vocabulary, and language structures. This is referenced in clips 2 minutes and 56 seconds to 5 minutes and 30 seconds, where I used a vocabulary slide to explain the words I would like the kids to focus on. And then I also, in clip 3 minutes and 21 seconds, I asked the student what place value is and what it means to the decimal. This is one of the ways I kind of checked for understanding when it came to vocabulary before we started the lesson. So I adjusted my instruction to include not only review from the 6 a day, but highlight what I wanted, what I saw that the kids needed support in. This can be seen in clip 3 minutes and 22 seconds, where I asked the class what place value is. While I didn't get many responses in that moment, the ones I did get were pretty correct, and kind of helped refresh some of the other students that maybe weren't sure how that was related to division. Some of the vocabulary words were new, like in clip 5 minutes and 6 seconds, where we go over the divisor and the dividend. The kids didn't really know what this was, so I thought it was a really good thing to kind of include within the slide. So that way they just kind of knew. There's a part in the video when I'm teaching where I kind of say whatever you do to the inside, you do to the outside, or whatever you do to the divisor, you do to the dividend. And I just wanted the kids to understand that those were two different parts of the division problem. This supported the kids with ADL, as it taught them something new and when and where to use those terms in math. So in this clip, I am starting the lesson. I'm teaching the new strategy that we're learning and why we do it and how to do it overall. To create and sustain a positive and safe learning environment in clip 2, I made sure I explicitly told them what we were doing today. So I told them that we were dividing decimals. They knew that. And then what their what their action was while I was teaching, which was basically just watching me teach and kind of taking mental notes, so that way they don't get distracted by their whiteboards or taking notes and maybe miss something important. This can be seen in clip 5 minutes and 34 seconds. You can see that I'm telling them how I'm going to run this part of the lesson and what they're expected to do while I show them how to do the problem. The UDL focus strategies I use from video clip 2 to actively engage students in asset-based math lesson were UDL principle 3.2 within this clip, which states highlighting and exploring patterns, critical features, big ideas, and relationships. This is referenced in clips of 5 minutes and 32 seconds and 8 minutes and 8 seconds, where I teach the lesson highlighting place value, which happens at 7 minutes and 8 seconds. This is something that I kind of saw the kids struggling with, so I definitely wanted to highlight it. I also highlighted how you have to mirror whatever you do to the divisor, you have to do to the dividend, which is at 7 minutes and 58 seconds. Through 8 minutes and 11 seconds, and again at 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Strategies help me promote the students' ADL through my constant repetition of the vocabulary we learned earlier in this lesson, and it also helped me connect back to some of the supports that they needed as a whole, because once again they did struggle a little bit with place value mirroring part when I was first teaching it, so I made sure to go back over to that. And I also knew that it was a new thing, and then I also knew that borrowing was something that they kind of had issues with, so I made sure to go back and kind of highlight, hey, make sure you borrow, because if you don't borrow correctly, that might affect your answer. In the third video clip, I'm completing the lesson, which I'm basically splitting the kids up into 2 different groups. Those who need a little bit more help and those who feel like they don't. And then I'm also giving them a group project to connect them to a more higher order thinking skills, where they have to kind of work collaboratively in order to get the problems done, and then one person will come up and present. And then I also gave them an exit ticket where they did an error analysis, which I thought furthered their understanding of the concept as a whole. I created a positive and learning environment and monitor their learning through asking them if they needed more examples or if they would like to move up and try a harder problem at 10 minutes and 7 seconds. I adjusted my instruction through splitting my class in 2 and giving them 2 separate problems, so one of them was a little bit harder, something that we really didn't do together for the kids who thought they could move on, and then the other one was just a little bit easier than that one, just so I could break down the steps. Specifically with my focus students, I noticed that when I kind of broke steps in pieces, it was easier for them to understand the new strategy that we were talking about. And I also observed this in a lot of the other kids that I expected would need more support within this subject. So I was hoping this would advance their math content knowledge and even their ADL. Small group instruction I know works. The UDL focus strategies I used during this video clip were 6.2, anticipate and plan for challenges. This was done during the group assignment portion of the video, which was at 12 minutes and 41 seconds, where the kids had to solve problems together and one person had to come up and solve the problem. This not only supports higher order thinking by having the students work collaboratively, but it also furthers their math problem solving skills and gets them closer to reaching their math goals, which is always a big thing. So one of the goals was hopefully they could divide using just a standard algorithm with the strategy I taught them today, and a lot of them got really close to that with this group project. I monitored the kids' progress through giving them an exit ticket at 13 minutes and 57 seconds, where I had them observe an error analysis problem. The kids were graded on whether they could tell me where the error was made and if they could fix the error that I made. And they were also encouraged to use a word bank. I know that really isn't seen in the video because I kind of cut it off and ran out of time, but they were encouraged to use a word bank using the vocabulary words that we had used earlier in the lesson. This was kind of to support their ADL and just to kind of have them connect that just a little bit more. And it also was there to provide a bit more support for my English learners, my kids who had a little bit of spelling issue or just kind of remembering.